Alright, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Push the tempo, push the tempo, push the tempo. Here we go, we're back. Alright. I accidentally hit the power button on my fucking tower. It's crazy. Didn't mean to. Alright. So what we really have here, stay out of you to communicate. Alright, good dog. Good dog. See that pattern right there? In that chair, that negative space? All that dark stuff? Oh, I made the TV flinch. There's a little, right there. Right there's that spot right there. Wonder if we can play with it. Alright, so back to the government goddamn. Sorry, someone just fucked with my brain. Back to the Laghu and Dog show. So we have 4 here, 9 here. We were calling 9 the power threshold, 5 the outer world, 9 the power threshold, or the inner world. Like I said when I started a minute ago, not sure what we're going to talk about, but I'm throwing cards everywhere. Harmonization. So I kind of started speaking about a dream that I was waking up to about government being in my dream actually. And it was weird. They were asking me to help, actually, in my dream. They were asking me to kind of give a weather report so we could facilitate our arrangements a little more discerningly. They were saying that they recognize they're not in the relative kind of control they thought they were, and that the arrangement was propagational towards other enlightened certainties that were being designated. I kind of feel hesitant about getting into it because I don't want to work with the government right now. I'm trying to remain my own, but I do want to help. You know, I do want to help. And what this show will do is give you a good idea of the etheric weather. You know, it's like we'll do an etheric weather report. We'll do a negotiation report, which is the news. Negotiation report, etheric report. But in hypnosis, ether is one of the main components because everything is sustained by ether magnetically, fluidly, like in your flow. What I'd like to talk about in hypnosis today is pattern recognition. Really, is in hypnosis there's magic happening, whether you know it or not. It's about pattern hopping. It's a pattern acknowledgement. It's about pattern discussion. Willing to evolve, dissolve, create the pattern, form the pattern, allow the pattern. One of the hardest concepts alchemy has to prove is the allotment of sedification. I don't really know for certain, but dog's fucking with my brain for dedication. Did my monster report, stream hypnosis, yeah. Alright, kind of cut off the cops for a while. I'm attention deficit hyper dysactive. That means I lock out components of my brain so people can't read them. Send them on a trail in my brain. Hey man, this is my gun. How about doing in your house? What's this? My mouse. Squirrel. You know, I'm fucking with etheric components that are regulating my concepts. These kids that are attention hyper disordered, whatever, distracted, they're like logically behind themselves, looking at these entities in them, retracking them all the time because they're fucking annoyed. They're annoyed, and it becomes a game to this part of the form, because we really, I mean, we'll get to that later. There's components, there's reactualizations, there's magnetic interference. What was that? Did you see that line come through there? See, and what we really want to do, just try this real quick. Let's try a nighttime test because it's dark out right now. We're gonna shut off all the lights for like 10 seconds and see if we can't get something. What I'd like to do is actually get a main screen without this screen to do this, but it's okay. growing a plant. I can show you my plant too. It's not that healthy right now. It's healthy, but it's not that big. It just started. Cannabis is one of the main forms of hypnosis. Cannabis and hypnosis are parallel in the relationship, and we'll talk about that also in one of our shows. I think the government is very recreational with hypnosis and cannabis. They feed all their secret agents that try to support the hypnosis through remote viewing of extracurricular momentum, we'll say, with cannabis sometimes. It's one of the popular ones. Governments do experiment with remote viewing and products of conscious manipulation assertively. They give you doses and shit, and they lock you in chairs and say, "Give me your information." You know, I can't say I agree with the way the government works, but I can facilitate the weather accordingly. So it's not fair that the government comes to me in my dream and says, "Corey, can you please help us facilitate a weather report for reality?" For one, no one's lost power. It's all still there. My report doesn't affect just the world. It affects greater adherences, which, like the Milky Way, is a living creature, and she... Hey, you can wave. Hi. Hi. Oh, someone's going to watch. Yeah, someone will watch you. I want to say something about your car. Just be careful around that corner. There's a nail in the road. I didn't put it there. I love you, Milky Way. I love you too, Corey. You are always welcome in my reality. Okay? Thanks, Corey. You look beautiful today, honey. You got a sun rising somewhere? Yes. Do you? Yes. So the Milky Way has a sun rising? Yes. Not like a triangle manifestation of light, but like a bigger orb for you that brings light and stuff? Yeah. Cool. So it looks like we can hypnose the Milky Way and get a definite response from her about what kind of plausible relationships exist within her, scientifically modulated to mine even. I guess we'll ask her, "Hey baby, can we mine one of your moons?" Go to the NBJT sector and define agmatic towards the soil with a lucid concept, and you'll find a magneticity derivative from the product that it will give you. Yeah? Yeah. NBJT? Yeah. Okay. Who are you talking to? The Makde Hajibets. Yeah? Are they around here? Yeah. What's one of the most important things about hypnosis, sweetheart? There's never false information. No? And one of the most important things about hypnosis and schizophrenia and paranoia and what we don't know, what most of the world doesn't know, is that these components exist. And these people that are picking them up, we call crazy. We dose them. We, like, propaganda-wise, modulating-wise, our relativeness to our reality convinces us that people that are sensitive to the Milky Way and greater get dosed double, actually, because their parents and their siblings and their aunts and uncles and teachers and professors all get really nervous of them, don't they? Yes. Dog, you want to join the conversation? I do, Corey. Good morning, Milky Way. Hi, dog. Good morning, Milky Way. No, dog. Oh no. Ready? Oh my gosh. That was just incredible. Hi, Milky Way. Hi, dog. You should take that somewhere. Do you mind if we do? No, dude. We'll do what you want, dog. Okay. Bye, dog! Here's my car! It's on you now, buddy. Alright, dog. You can have it back when you get home. One day I'll come on the show with a collar and we'll see what happens. Alright. So, hypnosis and schizophrenia are an important subject. And this is just for the Laghu and Dog show. We'll only be on an hour today. We'll go to 7, 8, 10. The Laghu and Dog show for the public is really just an hour long. I have another Laghu and Dog show that I generally use to hypnose myself and my reality, just for documenting for scientific purposes, because hypnosis is a very scientific understanding in some worldly concepts and extraterrestrial concepts, and it's really nice to get someone that's willing to take this to a level to provide scientific evidence. And that's the way I assume my reality is being presented to me. So I'm flowing in the concept magically, involuntarily, voluntarily, inhibitedly, involuntarily, sustainability. I'm Willis today. I'm Willis. You know, defensive. Yes. You want to see me in this camera? Camera looks good today, don't it, though? What is that? What is that defensive card? It's a Joker! It's a Jack. My Joker Jacks are fucking all over the place. It's a honing Jack, too. So, I would like to clear the air about some of these remote propaganda experiences that society experiences towards people that seem to act out of alignment. Really, hypnosis is propagating their mindset and their forth in their personal space, and hypnosis comes through 5. So we'll say 594 is a good standard for for numerically identifying the situation. Okay, there's an external threshold, internal. This is the balance. Okay, this is what we're going to try to get the cards to discuss today. And my cards tend to use anti-will, and when they find their will being caught, they will jump. They will hide. So, in hypnosis, in magic, and adherence to reality, even, some people that use this stuff to adhere to the concepts violate laws too. So, the object is to not get caught, actually. The object to sustain indefinitely your gifts is to not get caught. I have a card here. I don't know what it is. It is a 5. Oh, it's a 7. 7 of diamonds. So, we'll put the 7 of diamonds on top of the 9. Because mathematically, in the situation we're in, for a long time, people that were witches or warlocks or magically involved, which the process of hypnosis is really supporting sufficiency and security and sustainment. It's about actualizing the true nature of your existence. So when you walk up to the water not knowing what it is, you know to drink it, to survive. So when you walk up to the pineapple in the middle of a field and you've never seen it before, you can look at it, smell it, lick it. Ever try hearing fruit? They speak. You know, they hum, they just hum. They don't use a knife! Use your teeth, man. Let it drip down your fucking face, man. My blood's worth it, yo. Drip, 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 drip. No, it's an apple. We're all thinking of an apple, you know. The apple, the hypnosis apple. You know, that's what it's saying. Like, you pick it off the tree, and I want to feel the slime come down your face. Sorry about that. It's a marker. It's a marker in your brain. When you flinch, I feel it. You know, I didn't choose to have that marker, but my 18 years of steroids, of prednisone and cytomedrol, obviously not buffy ones, but life ones, you know, they kept me alive, dude. They deteriorated my bones. They deteriorated my teeth. They have deteriorated my fucking thinking, apparently. No, I'm not that crazy. I'm okay. There's a camera there. Alright, so stop being silly. You know, authentically, if you can act it without being it and call back yourself, you're okay. You know, the propaganda of insanity versus sanity is the seed ratio. What seed are you working with on the inside of yourself? And granted, a lot of that propaganda of those kind of qualities do exist in a manic ratio towards aggression and reformation and reaffirmation. And the United States, along with many other countries, have a very detrimental problem towards people that are capable of hiding behind sanity and insanity. They're very smart. They're very reliable. I mean, what's the Hannibal one? Hannibal is the first, and now there's a new movie out like that. I don't know the name of it, but guy's in prison and he's cow. You know, did it? Nope. What? Blood. You know, don't kill the cow. It's milk. What's better, meat or milk? You got children? You want to raise them? Or you want to feed yourself? You produce milk all the time? How long do the kids have to have milk? You know? Technically, it's just questions like that. I kind of want to draw this out a little bit because I'm trying to solidify some rational reality with you, me, and others that act like me. But I know a lot of people are going to view my show and think I'm a little whack. You know, they're gonna disqualify the certification that I'm a parent to in my reality and draw it in themselves and say, well, that's not true for me. Well, that's not true for me. Life don't work that way. But really, this is kind of the dream that I had, where the government put themselves in my dream and said, can you please help us? Help us define the weather so people can understand that it's not a responsibility factor of the power, but of the flow. What is in motion stays in motion until it finds a change. It either grows, dissolves, or refracts, or deflects. There's other operations that momentum can create while being in motion, or sustaining motion, or designing motion, or creating motion. And the flow with hypnosis is one of the most important relationships you can carry. Once you start an hypnosis flow, they're so limited around here that you want to sustain it. You want to drink your Monster. You want to smoke a cigarette. You want to smoke some weed. You want to do a line. Some people like to inject shit in their vein. I don't. I hate needles. I've had so many fucking IVs my whole life, dude. I can't stand needles. But that's what the concept of an adaptogenic plant really does for a shaman. When they start experiencing hypnosis, the plant will come to them and be like, hey, can you solidify some more bridges in your reality for me where others can't define them? And this card, this 7, comes in where the plants come in, and they help the shaman support the hidden agenda of negotiation in the ether, in the weather of the planet, conscious weather. Alright? Now, we're going to pause for a minute and take a conscious weather report just to demonstrate what I feel about the weather. Now, the weather, when we talk about weather, it is the unbalanced, the balanced, harmonizing to create fluid relationships. And it's more than that, but right now it's really just becoming again, like the planet is regaining her flower, like her scent, you know. And this planet is a very, very, very unique planet. There's only one like it right now, and she is literally walking me, and I am walking me. And this is kind of why the collar, this is her necklace for me, this is her collar for me. You know, my etheric components that help navigate my life in the feminine form all chose to give me a collar without a leash. Representing that they want to set me free. Like, they just want to just wind them up and throw them out there. And I was all ready to do that. I was so ready. I was like, what happened was, my whole life I was an extreme sports rider. I rode BMX, I rode snowboard, I skateboarded, I rollerbladed, I rock climbed, I camped, I kayaked, I canoed, I swam, I ran, I I didn't run track. I didn't play any sports. I played hockey on pickup leagues, but inline hockey. I played ice hockey a little, but I wasn't a sports addict with it. But I loved watching hockey. I don't like football. I don't like soccer. I don't like baseball. I like the extreme, fast action, physics, spinning off, stuff coming off, trash flying everywhere, speed and forward. And then I spent my first 18 years of my life in school and riding all the time. I would literally go out at 4 in the morning in my backyard, snowboard from 4 in the morning till 6 in the morning the next morning, and then go to sleep from 6 to 9 and be back out snowboarding from 9 to 6 in the morning again on the weekend. And turn on the back light, the back floodlight. Just I had a little hill. It kind of went like this. I know you can really tell what I'm doing, but it's it's all. That's part of the reality too. Is when someone has an hypnosis experience, a lot of the experience is propagational outward, and reality feels it regardless if it's being transmuted or not. And in hypnosis, everybody really wants everybody to understand what they're feeling. So it's a handshake going down, you kind of got it, but I really get it more than you, because it's meant for me. One of the scenarios of hypnosis is that personal scenario right there. Now we're going to say that's the will concept. Alright, so in the threshold of 9, 7, in the will card, it'll create a foundation. And a lot of the foundation of hypnosis through the history of the planet has been hidden agenda, because there's been a blood power, royal blood power here, trying to use hypnosis to propagate power over the civilianship of the world. Okay, and this is where a lot of the cabal and the world orders come in. They don't have an understanding completely, but they're leveraged to propagate the force. And they're dumbed down with money, so they don't understand what they're doing on a weather report. All they see is the fucking bills piling up and their bank emptying and the bills piling up again. We're going to see what this says. We're going to get a creation card. This gives us as civilianships to understand this, to put our efforts back into existence and let them hear us and say, we see you. We know you're being abused. It's okay. We'll deal with it. And this is the weather report also. I can really solidify any equation in my mind, which kind of creates an imbalance because I don't look for the structures that exist, like God or dog. God is a dog, and God's a pet. You know what I mean? I've taken the relationship of what that structure is of the authority, made it a father figure and a pet in my reality, and I call it dog. And dog does communicate through my body, because effortlessly dog is obtaining and sustaining and regaining the momentum with himself. He is using synapses, and he's using magnetics, and he's using light, and he's using force to always keep you jib jabbity dabbity dabbita. And I've just kind of had the momentum to make my brain a receiver to it in a way that it can propagate my form. So me and him share the same body, generally because the original concept of life is about a dual state forming this to negotiate the gnosis of sustainment, safety, security, and indefinite life, forever, even. So the magic quality of what dog offers anybody, and this is what dog started to show with Do You Know Who I Am and What I Am, he can really give a human or an alien or a sun or a moon or a planet the indefinite sustainment from himself. So he can heal you, he can sustain you, you can go without eating, you can go without peeing, you can go without pooping, and it can work. You'll live 80 years, but when I say that, it's like heartbreaking though, because dog officially looks at humanity as a very ancient understanding around here, where we used to live 700 years. And that's the history of the planet and humanity. We'll get into that, but I just felt dog's heart kind of break on that statement, and that's why it broke, because really he feels humanity used to live a lot longer, and we're not anymore. Not due to our responsibilities and needs of smoking and drugs and guns and gold and oil, but literally there's a mechanism, there's an etheric mechanism compromising our data growth and our cells, trying to pull us back down to the 80 to 120 year mark. What Dog would like to offer is his original concept back into humanity, where people will start going off and hiding and living 700 years. But that person can't do it in the middle of society. And part of the negotiation I'm trying to negotiate is we need to let those people out. They're our propaganda. They're our strength. They're not miracles. It's the way it's supposed to be. I mean, in that statement, we feel if we met someone that was 700 years old that was a human, it would be a miracle. But it's like the miracles used to exist up here, and now we're down here we're calling 2 dice a miracle when they land on 2 and 2, or when we get craps, or when we get a blackjack. I got 7-9. Anybody want to hit or stay? You want to hit? Alright. So someone wanted me to try to get a blackjack game in here. I got it. So you want to hit? Hit. I didn't look. 8, 9, 7, 8. Oh, you got a straight. Oh my god, try to go for a straight. Alright, we're playing the lottery. We're playing the lottery. Ready? 10. Oh my god, you got it? I don't remember what the cards were. We'll try to go for one more time. You want to go for one more time? We want to hit or stay? Hit or stay? Hit or stay? You got 4 cards in a row. 4 cards in a row. Stay, 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 hit, stay, hit. You don't believe in me? We'll stay. Alright, what cards do we get here? These are the cards we got. So someone wanted to play a game. 9, 7. What card is that? Is that light and weight? 8, 10. They got a 4-digit straight. Now that was pretty cool. See, I want to play games with the audience. You know, I want to involve the audience in this show. It's 7:40. We got about another 30 minutes. We'll try to get another game in. Now, when you really propagate a relationship like that, you got to give it time to rest. In the pattern of hypnosis, that pattern ignites you're stimulating your synaptic relays in your brain and in your heart, and your brain has conscious. Everywhere there's a synapse, there's a rate of conscious around it that is ignitable and measurable in memory, form, and creation. So you can take this, put it here, and then put it here, and then your whole body becomes your brain. And then you go from your body, like Bender in that one show where Bender takes himself and puts him outside of himself like a really smart robot. Then you take all that and you put that imprint as an energetic statement in an aura around your body, and then all that becomes the synaptic relay in memory too. It basically mimics and idealizes and memorizes the same pattern process in you. So when you pop a game so good, you got to give that relationship time to rest in your body. And that's kind of where that black is coming from. In this like negative space that's starting to show up. Basically, I think someone sits in that chair all the time around here, and they're leaving that mark. My camera's starting to pick it up because that black is a negative space that should be filled with a white space. See how my finger's kind of white in it? You know, if you look around the edge, you'll see the white negotiation. It's when you understand the mechanisms of the etheric weather, the white is always persistent. It takes an operation to create the negative space. Okay? And that's what we're experiencing right there. So the negotiation is the negative space. The white, which it doesn't seem to be present anymore, it's like someone's trying to modulate that for me. If you do it without my opinion or respect, then I patent that process and I make money off it. And the money will come back to me. It's like sticking my flow from my heart into you, watching it unlock you and come back to me. Currency is not just money. It's emotion. It's patterns. It's recognition. And in hypnosis, you can spend your emotion, patterns, and recognition, and your concepts that you evolved with as a form of currency into the ether, into the weather. It's when you start negotiating your currency as a world currency and negotiating it for the world. And this doesn't take Jesus to do this. Anybody's capable. Jesus is a stop blocker by a double standard to keep us from understanding this. And the modulation effect really takes gratitude and accepts the fact that this is what I do, and I want to evolve with it. I believe that what I do is represented here very well, and the negotiation is trying to work with me so we can propagate a refined understanding to where heart's qualified to determine the outcome and not the logic component of the brain. The heart is more solidified in emotional statements of guilt and gratitude, and that's really where you want to go. It's not about the basis of sin. If you can qualify tearing down a building of someone's home because you're giving them a better one versus tearing down the buildings of someone's home because you're taking their home, you know, if you're not qualified in heart, you'll take their home and not give them one. If you are, you'd probably replace it because your heart would absolutely make you. You know, and that's the power of love, really. And Einstein has that statement written down very well. You know, the power of that is undiscernible, really. And if Dog's going to be like, well, do you know what I am? You know, you're unknown, dude. Not really. You're just unknown. But what we do know is that you provide us with the massive amounts of love, which Einstein states is literally the most powerful force, unobserved force in life. And that comes from right here, man, in all of us. In all of us. But this can't break this out. Because literally, this shit is going on. This negative space. This negative space affects this component over this component, leaves us in turmoil and depression, and it walks our life creating action for itself while dissolving our original action, which we're in a process of regaining the original effect of humanity towards the planet. And it's been happening for a few years now. It's why a lot of the ascension breaking has been coming through about the hippie movement and the rainbow family, and just people really trying to assert the breakage of that power form that's dilating the logical concept of humanity as a whole world, not just one planet, but as a whole world. And this component has a leverage point where it's just one mindset stabilized in a fucking reality that generalizes degrees in instruction to keep the propagation, which I don't have an understanding of what that was, but hypnosis will teach us about it. I think we're going to take a 10-minute commercial break, try to come back and deal with this threshold. The 4 dropped a 4 way over in this corner. We got some cards here that dropped on the floor. I'm hearing a weird noise in my ear. I'm hearing a ringing. Well, where'd that come from? Because I want to take a break? Yes. Are you kidding me? You don't want me to take a break? No. Listen. Commercials are important. I gotta make money. I'm fucking broke. I ain't got no food. I ain't got no dope, man. And I need hypnosis. Can you hypnosis me with your blood? Can I eat that from you? From right here? Can you channel the reprimandations of what your creation's providing you with and give it to me? I don't care. What about your ooze? What about your poop? What about your pee? Do you pee? Do you poop? Who are you? What are you? Why are you here? Why are you telling me I can't take a break? What's your propagational control over my reality? I poop. You're gonna trade poop and walk away? Yes. I'm gonna take a break then. I gotta go shit. Alright. I want to take a break because I want to stimulate the synaptic relay, and I'm going to take a tough puff off of a puffer stick. Which, you know, everything's symbolic in the nature of the observer, and I guess that's what we're trying to ignose to the most, because Da Vinci says it the best. Pathetic Pathetic is the best parodic. I don't know what that means, but it's what I channeled. Pathetic Pathetic is the best parodic. We should record that. Pathetic Pathetic is the best parodic. Pathetic Pathetic is the best parodic. I just challenged that from Da Vinci about me. And what that statement really says is that the symbolic relationship of the great observer. So when you look at the great flower, first the great observer looking at the great flower, every stem on that flower, every little hair, every little center is all relative to the emotional state of the great observer. What Pratik Pratik is the best Pravatic states that you cannot complete the same observation. So the flower will never mean the same thing to you as a great observer. Really, all you'll get is the scent of him smelling the flower with his cologne. And until you determine the relationship between you and your four, you will have this threshold. The 7-9 defense, 5-9-4 will. Alright, someone's trying to move my hand. Try to bounce my hand. Is this a flinch? Can't you count flinches? Okay, it's backwards. This is what I was wondering. I need to flip that screen. This one works. Hello. Alright, so that didn't work well. I like playing games with the audience, so we'll try to get them more involved. But, alright, we'll try to do the weather reports and everything when we get back. I'm going to take a stimulus break for a minute and drink a monster and have extreminosis. Here's some songs. Push the tempo, 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 push the tempo. You know? So, our show is about hypnosis with Dog and yourself. Stay tuned, and hopefully Dog will be done doing what he's doing with the Milky Way. Good luck, Dog. She's about to. Alright, so here's a little music to hold us over for a 5-minute break. I like to provide commercials. It gives you a minute to relax because, like I said, the synaptic adventure that you're experiencing with even listening to my shows is worse than reading a Bible. But that's what the Bible does. The Bible is literally filled with words to get you to use synapses a certain way, so religion can modify the synapse adherence to magnetically and etherically pertaining to reality as a synthetic deity to modulate the control over civilianship. See, deities come from the synaptic frequencies in your brain and in your heart in a unity platform, and they become conscious and relevant as a modulator themselves, but they're not modulators in that aspiration when they're not controlled. And there's like two scenarios here where there's an indent into that process trying to modulate it, and there's an outdent out of that process trying to basically sustain the modulation for this great adventure that we're about to experience, which is the weather report of why I can put it together and why I can't put it together without pain and with pain. But really, synapses are the most. They experience life the best. If you're not a synapse, you don't know nothing. Okay, we're having... Okay, engineer!
She loved it. Oh, no, you niggas big bang bangers on my shit. Oh, you can hop up off. I just got my car. So way out my money, nothing I lost. Now let's go.
We'll be right back.
Now let's go. What am I doing next? What am I having here? What am I having here? Yeah, I'm on a mission, and no one can stop me, you must be tripping. So I just a copy, I'm on a mission, and no one can stop me, you must be tripping. So I just a copy that, let's go, I'm a raging millionaire, self-made. hate when I hear a nigga, you a copy of a copy. You're the bear, I only care the character, and it's not in here. You couldn't even say you bought it if you had a pair. Watch out, don't say the cap out. So much coming easy, and I swear I never clock out. And if you want to knock out, you think I'm gonna tap out. I just wanna find me, kinda like the tap out. I deserve a hit, but I be hella lit, though. Keep it hella loud, keep me feeling to the shit, though. I'm a turn the beat, though. Taking it a bit, though. Okay, let's go.
Oh, what happened? I shut it off, man.
Wow. Nice place.
Guess that's the end of our commercial break. Alright, we're coming back. Dog solved that one. And we were rocking the energy pretty hard on that one. I was up dancing and like energetically experiencing them. It was pretty fucking cool, dude. That song made sense. Bottom line, if it makes sense, man, take it and run. Alright, I'm gonna put this out now. King smoking on live TV. That's what he says. Dog doesn't want me smoking on air. But I needed that to try to regain what I was losing. Alright, my finger's too easy. It's okay? I guess I'll just bring it down. Little medicine, dog. Peace, dog. Much love. Great show. Alright. So we're gonna bring it back up. We're gonna bring the news into this process. Alexa, can we get the news, please?
This is last briefing.
My assistant.
In local news from Fox 2 Detroit.
This is Fuel Focus with the Fox 2 News Brief for late night Wednesday, January 16th. Developing news, John Aver is out as interim president of Michigan State University. Aver resigned today, accused of being insensitive to the sexual assault victims of Dr. Larry Nassar.
Yes.
It's word that Aver had no choice. Reports say that he was told to resign now or be fired Thursday morning. The man who caused that horrific crash of I-75 in Kentucky, killing a Ryan family of 5, was extremely drunk. Police say that the wrong-way driver, 41-year-old Joey Bailey, had a blood alcohol level nearly 4 times the legal limit.
Got 10 more minutes, yo.
The boss and their 3 children were all killed in the crash. The drunk driver also died. Well, you've probably seen the plank challenge or the Tide Pod challenge online. The problem is that some of the people in those videos are getting hurt. Tonight, YouTube has decided to delete any and all videos that promote dangerous behavior, no matter how funny they are. No
dangerous behavior from YouTube.
Tonight with light snow likely on Thursday. You can always get the latest online at fox2news.com, and we'll see you live on Fox 2 News Morning.
Did you feel it? I got your third form. You want to buy it? Because you own electricity. Do you? No? Oh, I guess I can't sell it to you then.
LED wavelengths and intensities also can efficiently stimulate plant growth, alter their shapes, and increase their nutritional value, opening a new world of scientific and technological possibilities for indoor farming. Researchers have developed a more detailed framework for understanding and managing the risk of transmitting a bacterial disease via water spray from sinks, showers, and toilets. As continuous testing of indoor water is not always feasible, the guidelines can help to identify water use situations that could increase the risk of exposure. Biologists have modeled the hagfish's gag-inducing defense mechanism mathematically. Scientists have sequenced the genomes of the European gypsy moth and its even more destructive cousin, the Asian gypsy moth. A new study shows that over time, bears get used to drones. Previous work indicated that animals behave fearfully or show a stress response near drone flights, using heart monitors to gauge stress. However, researchers here found that bears habituated to drones over a 3 to 4 week period and remain habituated. From Daily Chester the Jester, what does a prisoner sleep in? A content. In the news for nerds, It Munch reports that Elon Musk apparently believes that the human race can only be saved by implanting chips into our skulls that make us half human, half artificial intelligence. Writes /reader Dryriver.
Hold on, Elon, I'm working on something.
Elon Musk's main goal, he explains, is to wire a chip into your skull. This chip would give you the digital intelligence needed to progress beyond the limits of our biological intelligence. This would mean a full incorporation of artificial intelligence into our bodies and minds. He argues that without taking this drastic measure, humanity is doomed. There are a lot of ethical questions raised on the topic of what humanity according to Elon Musk exactly is, but he seems undeterred. My faith in humanity has been a little shaken this year, Musk continues, but I'm still pro-humanity. The seamless conjunction of humans and computers gives us humans a shot at becoming completely symbiotic with artificial intelligence, according to Elon Musk. He argues that humans as a species are all already practically attached to our phones. This makes us almost cyborg-like. The only difference is that we haven't managed to expand our intelligence to that level. This means that we are not as smart as we could be. The data link that
I wonder if Elon recognizes what I've done to the chips that's embedded in the mind.
Is not as fast as it could be. It will enable anyone who wants to have superhuman powers.
It may have allowed me to break out of the boundaries of power.
As for how much smarter humans will become with the
Because I'm sure they've been implanted in me somehow through extraterrestrial propagation.
With a phone or computer or without?
They told me they were. I don't believe it though. I don't know. I don't know.
You can answer any question pretty much instantly. You can remember flawlessly. Your phone can remember videos and pictures perfectly. Your phone is already an extension of you. You're already a cyborg. Most people don't realize you're already a cyborg. It's just that the data rate, it's slow, very slow. It's like a tiny straw of information flow between your biological self and your digital self. We need to make that tiny straw like a giant river, a huge, high bandwidth interface. Collection of almost 772 million unique email addresses and just under 22 million unique passwords were exposed on cloud service Mega. Security researcher Troy Hunt said the collection of data, collection number 1, totaled over 12,000 separate files and more than 87 gigabytes of data. Reading that report, what I can say is that my own personal data is in there and it's accurate. Right email address and a password I used many years ago. Hunt wrote.
Something's programming that.
If you're in this breach, one or more passwords you've previously used are floating around for others to see. Some passwords, including his own, have been dehashed. That is converted back to plain text. Hunt said he gained the information after multiple people reached out to him with concerns over the data on Mega, with the collection number 1 dump also being discussed on a hacking forum. The post on the forum referenced a collection of 2,000 plus dehashed databases and combos stored by topic and provided a directory listing of 2,890 of the files. Hunt wrote, the collection has since been removed. You can visit Hunt's Have I Been Pwned service to see if you are affected by this breach. An anonymous reader quotes a report from Science Daily. In a University of California, Irvine-led study, researchers found evidence that fasting affects circadian clocks in the liver and skeletal muscle, causing them to rewire their metabolism, which can ultimately lead to improved health and protection against aging-associated diseases. The study was published recently in Cell Reports. The research was conducted using mice, which were subjected to 24-hour periods of fasting. While fasting, researchers know that the mice exhibited a reduction in oxygen consumption, VO2, respiratory exchange ratio, RER, and energy expenditure, all of which were completely abolished by refeeding, which parallels results observed in humans. The reorganization of gene regulation by fasting could prime the genome to a more permissive state to anticipate upcoming food intake and thereby drive a new rhythmic cycle of gene expression. In other words, fasting is able to essentially reprogram a variety of cellular responses. Therefore, optimal fasting in a timed manner would be strategic to positively affect cellular functions and ultimately benefiting health and protecting against aging-associated diseases. This study opens new avenues of investigation that could ultimately lead to the development of nutritional strategies to improve health in humans. Yesterday, the Key West City Commission unanimously voted to ban the sale of sunscreens that contain 2 ingredients, oxybenzone and octinoxate, that a growing body of scientific evidence has harmed coral reefs. The measure must now be reviewed again by the Commission before it becomes law. The second vote is scheduled for February 5th. Miami Herald reports, environmental researchers have published studies showing how these 2 ingredients, which accumulate in the water from bathers or from wastewater discharges, can damage coral reefs through bleaching and harming coral's DNA. In some instances, the corals can die. A February 2016 study in the Archives of Environmental Contamination and Toxicology examining the impact of oxybenzone in corals in Hawaii and the U.S. Virgin Islands concluded that the sunscreen ingredient poses a hazard to coral reef conservation and threatens the resiliency of coral reefs to climate change. Last year, Hawaii banned the sale or distribution of any sunscreens containing oxybenzone and octinoxate, a measure that will go into effect on January 1, 2021. It was the first state in the nation to implement such a ban. In Florida, the website for the South Florida Reef Ambassador Initiative, which falls under the State Department of Environmental Protection, tells divers to avoid sunscreens with oxybenzone and avobenzone. The benzones are compounds that are lethal to coral reproduction in very small amounts. Experts who have studied the issue face sunscreens with zinc oxide or titanium dioxide, which are minerals, also block ultraviolet rays. They create a barrier on the skin that deflects the sun's rays. Researchers from the University of Houston have reported a new theory in physics called stress localization, which they use to tune and predict the properties of new materials, reports Phys.org. Based on those predictions, the researchers reported in Materials Horizons that they have created a durable silicone polymer study capable of repelling ice from any surface. The new research has huge implications for aircraft, power transmission lines, and more.
Okay, Alexa, that's enough radio, please. We don't have much time left.
Bill D. Cook, Assistant Professor of Mechanical Engineering.
News off, please. Alright, we're about to end the show. Whoa, did you see how much she lit up when I just jumped? Let's see if I can get an energetic signature around this baby. Alright, this is my clone. This is my plant. I grew it from seed. She's getting excited. I'm talking about her. I think. See how the signature in her is like, it looks like a fucking computer generated image, but it's not. It's a real plant. See, in front of this camera, this is what she looks like. It's my plant. I'm growing her. She's a beauty. She needs some nutrients. She needs a bit of pot. I'm doing that today. I've only been growing it for about 2 weeks. I got this light back here that I got covered up by the screen. You know, my teddy bear. I wanted to show you my teddy bear. There's my collar on my teddy bear. My ladies gave me a collar with no leash. That's all that means. I have no leash. I'm a dog with no leash, man. You know, me and dog, we got our women. They found us. They got us before this got us. And now, if you touch us, our women will get you. And that right there is a datura plant growing at the bottom of a cannabis plant. This is really medicine for hypnosis and healing consciousness and pattern propagation and heart security. What cannabis is known through India is a heart modulator. It allows existence to retain a pattern for over 3 to 4 hours. Even when you're not high, it stays residual in your relationship. And for some reason, my camera here is picking up the energetic signatures in negative space, which tells me that there's a propagation around the plant where there's some field creating the negative space in the plant, which generally affects the quality of the hive. Now, my theory with cannabis is something like what I'm going through will be absorbed into the growth process of the plant itself and ultimately affect the hive. Deeper, more relevant, a lot of propagation patterns that you put into it that are repetitive over and over and over will be dominant in the trichomes and in the relationship that you use to get lifted or elevated or medicated or secured or relationship wise. An extraterrestrial database has a very unique signature in it about this plant, and they try to propagate through it, but I don't believe they've managed. I believe the plant managed to solidify a security in their database, waiting for someone to unlock it for them. So when they get stoned, they can unlock that database in the extraterrestrial mindset. Because it's propagated a whole bunch of numbers and signatures. While they observe these numbers, it generates a stimulant-like Bible effect, and the plant is trying to break us free from the modulation by being a weed. It's great. It's really great. It comes from the planet. The planet gave the extraterrestrials this plant a long time ago for this situation. She's starting to light up a little bit. She's starting to light up. We're going to keep talking about it for a minute and see if we can't get a nice little change on this negative stuff that's upon him. You know, and if you notice with the ether, like if you can look, so the ether's always flowing. It's like static. It's just like constant on, just two, constant a range of self. I'm here. I'm will. We'll get Dog to blow on her. Dog! Are you done? No. You want me to blow on your plant? Yeah, can you blow on my plant, please? Yeah. Ready? 1, 2, 3. So Dog's telling me I need a fan, but he was just tricking me into playing with them, so I had to learn that I need a fan on it. Okay, we'll do that. Alright, so this is a cannabis plant, and it's got tetrahydrocannabinoids, 1, 2, CBD, and about 13 to 21 other compounds that are ignitable in the body. And in the process of hypnosis, this plant is harmonious. It's a 7. It's a frequency it's like a source were to take that first ping and re-ping it 6 more times and create a harmony. This plant sustained it. So it always pulls us back into that harmony. This plant is about regaining what we are. Then, not the process of time or destruction or chaos, but regaining, reholding, like hold the momentum, pull it in, even in a force that drives us forward all the time, because technically if we're not driven forward, we'll find the momentum of that timeline that is being hidden, and this plant will take you from going to your appointment and saving your life to being stoned and sitting on the couch, because ultimately you could have gotten into a car accident. You know what I mean? The plant understands that. You know what the plant did for me? I kind of feel bad about it, but I tried to join the military 5 times. I went to 5 different recruiters. Every recruiter disappeared. Finally, on the 5th one, I finally got to take the ASVAB. They loved me. I scored higher than a 2-year MSU student at 12th grade, 11th grade. No, 11th grade. I was 17. School wanted to kick me out because I was so intelligent. They asked me to join the military so I would leave the school because I was causing this kind of problem, basically. You know? So I took my GED, went and joined the military, tried to join the military, and then I passed the ASVAB, and then right before the drug test, I got stoned. The plant was just like, Corey, I'm not letting you do this. And she was like, addiction, 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 you're not going. So I failed my drug test, and that was the last thing I heard from them, ever. They were just stupefied that I tried so hard and failed the drug test, I guess. I don't know. Wife did not want me joining the military. I wonder why. But I'm a precision extreme sports junkie, and I didn't go in the military to fight. I didn't want to join the military to hurt anyone. I wanted to feel the performance. I wanted to feel the synapses fucking. So what wife did was say, no, we're going to do it. We're going to give you myasthenia gravis, and you can experience death 36 times. There's your synaptic relay, buddy. So why don't you experience a negative synapse when they're not working? And that's what I did. And I'm still here. It must have worked. So we're going to try that with this. So that synaptic placement that I've learned through the process of 36 acute respiratory failures, I'm going to surround my plant with right now. And it's lightening up. It's lightening up. Oh, see, someone interfered with it. My TV went static too. It's flashing on me. See what happens to the plant now, baby. Oh, see, she liked that. Oh, wow. It's like someone's trying to take her from me. See that leaf right there? Let's see this real quick. So what are we observing here? What are we observing? Does anybody want to have a solution to this observance? I mean, is it the light? We can move this screen and put the light behind it. We'll put this screen down here for now. And we'll go to the light. If we put it right in front of the light, you know, that negative space still tries to propagate this plant pretty deeply. And it looks like the light actually re-evaluates the negative space and draws it back in. So right there, the equation of the negative space and product of modulating seems to be delegate on the light effect and how light regains solidification of section. That's kind of unique that we could just prove that there, but let's look into the cards on that one. Let's look into the cards, man. That's kind of important because that's part of the weather we experience. So, with this whole propaganda of ascension and hippie movement that are the light, bring the light in and let the light love, and apparently it's just a propagating effect to re-solidify the sexulation that the modulation has upon humanity. What that can't be broken is the plant releases us from the suction and lets us solidify a sediment that we can produce patterns with. In hypnosis, it is abundant to build your patterns, sustain your patterns, and hold your patterns, but with this black shit that's around all the time, that's modulated, that's a product, it's a product. The black shit is a modulated product. Okay? This black energy, or whatever it is, if you don't believe in energy, it's there though, right? My plant is getting it off. Let's see if I can get it off. I'm putting it into my camera. I shouldn't be doing that. Right. On my face. I don't push. Push. Try that easy foot. Don't push. Alright, hold on. We want to try something. There's a science boundary here of the government that wants to play with this. So really, to build centers, to get this stuff up, we need to agnostically harness our form and channel it through a camera, and the camera will start centrifying itself. And what the trick is right now, what governments, what we've got to understand, man, is that the relationship our electronics are in is a prime relationship to accidentally pick this shit up, man. Because right now, it's got to look like an accident, kind of. Like, if we just try to modulate a war and go against this thing, we'll lose, dude. See how clear that got? We'll lose. We'll lose. If we modulate a war, we'll lose. So what AI has done... Oh, she flinched on AI. You not like AI, baby? It's detrimental to her. Huh. So electricity is kind of... The etheric form of AI is compromised to a plant. What I've learned is that this keeps a plant from breathing. It keeps the planet from breathing. And it looks like this might be an electric form of AI. And what we need to do is accidentally stumble across their face with our face. I'm not kidding, man. You can't, we don't have the weapons to do this constructively. What we need to do is randomly outcome the output through mistakes and algorithms of clumsiness and wait for no. We need to get them to walk into a wall. You know, I walked into a pillar when I was younger, so I must have been one of them at the time, because that's kind of what happened to me. Like, I got a scar here and a scar here, both on my left eye, like they were going for my eyes, but you know, so they could have, this protection energy could have thought I was one of them at one time, and like, not be silly, but I'm not one of them, so it's okay. Thanks. Sorry. But to really see, and then with the weather report that I'm experiencing to the government, you know, I gotta not look like I'm trying to propagate the power for the arrangement of this kind of situation. I'm trying to break this free and let it be, like, if this plant, if this is really happening and this synthetic automatic vacuum wasn't there, that plant might be glowing right now. This space in my room, this space here, right here in my chair, might be glowing, like, because when I put my finger in front of it, there is a glow around my finger that doesn't occupy that vacuum. You know, see that white glow right there? That's me not occupying the vacuum. And weather report wise, with this confirmation, I could be creating a vacuum of my own of solidification through the emptiness, which is an equation that I've been given to work with. Magically, consciously, patternly, energetically, as an ADHD, energetic, hyper-ass little bitch. You know, let's try to play with the plant a little more, and then we'll call it the show done. This is kind of a nice little gift that we got here. Thank you, plant. You're beautiful. I love you. I will try to get this shit off you as much as I can. I notice when my hand's around you, it doesn't want to be around as much, but as soon as so if I put my hands in front of it, it like darkens you right up. And see what happens there. Push, 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 baby, push, push, push. You want to breathe? I want to breathe. You moved your... Oh, did I do that? I didn't do that. Are you moving? If you're moving, you're breathing, baby. That relief is breathing. They're asking me, the things that modulate this experience are asking me if they give her space to breathe out of one leaf, if that's enough. Well, with that respect, they see me as an authority. Not enough to create a bridge. I want my plant free. If the plant is free, it'll set everything free, and we can't sustain that. Well, that's why you owe me money. I'm the product, I'm the copyright, and if you want me back, you will pay me. You will set my shit free, and you will pay me. Right, plant? See, and when plants are like this, man, they don't like to be touched because they're stressed out. Now, if we could just get a light, now if we can monitor, like we should talk to Elon Musk. He's kind of like the next Tesla. Which is amazing that he owns a Tesla car and he's so fucking destructive with electricity. It's like a gift, you know, it's like pattern popping down. That's Ashley. That's the Illuminati Ashley, you guys. The product of Nikola Tesla being manifested down through a pattern that's recognizable in reality and keeping Tesla's work going. It may not be the exact form, but, and Elon Musk is working with AI now, but what would Tesla be working with in this modern industry, you know? I have a plan that says electricity is alive. Electricity is a compression ratio of this matter occupying my plant in a negative way. Now we're going to put my plant back in front of this camera for a minute. And we'll bring this back down. I do need to go to the bathroom. But see, in front of that camera, it doesn't have that signature. It doesn't have that wavelength. It doesn't have that conformity. It doesn't have that negative space. And I mean, energetically, I could be building my webcam to pick these up. See that flinch there? They wonder why they're sitting there now. They're wondering if they're going to dissolve back into solidification in my room. Something has been sitting in that chair. See it spark? Something has been sitting in that chair. Oh shit, what's going on? Alright, so we're turning out the lights real quick, and we're gonna try to catch some shit. Hold on, end of the show for now, y'all. Gotta give it a point, Corey. I'll go into the bathroom real quick. I gotta see my pants. Alright, so, let's see here. I'm going to try to get my heart to spark in the dark. You want to turn on these lights? These lights are up. End of the show. Good luck, everybody. Have a happy day. The weather is fine today. Heart is evolving. We are beautiful. We are safe. Rely on your sufficiency. Rely on your test. Rely on your hypnosis. Going down that road can get you hurt. Think about it. Alright. So in the dark, you tend to pick up things a little more. Because the dark, with no light sucking on the situation. See, and every time I bring this up about turning off the camera, oh, there was something over here. Need a flashlight so I can point it out. Try to provoke something in the chair. Hello? Think of 3 plus 1. 5 plus 2. 3 plus 1. 5 plus 2. Oh, there was a spark. See it? See it? It was right there. 3 plus 1. There was a line. Right here. 3 plus 1. 5 plus 2. 3 plus 1. 5 plus 2. I cannot not listen to you guys. Nope. 3 plus 1. Alright. Vortex. 5. Alright guys. We'll do a real good show about this, and we'll try to qualify some of these relationships in my room. What? Oh, what was that? Oh shit, see that shit, baby? Did you see that shit? I said, what's that? And it was all over my face, dude. It's alive, man. It literally sticks to us consciously and tries to block us from getting out the information, man. It's a fucking conspiracy, yo! Alright, you guys. I love you. Have a safe day. And blessed be. Little Google up for us. Don't forget your monsters, yo. Guys out there in the milk, we're working the shower, baby. I got product. See that shit? They see it. I got product, baby. Touch it. Touch the rock. Touch the rock. Oh, there you go, baby. Good job. Yeah, get money in my bitch. Want a collar, homie? What is your representation, your qualification, knowledge, and gnosis, baby? Don't get the product, homie. Love you guys. Peace out. Product, I am product. This is where we all came from. The dreams we had, the love we shared. This is what we're waiting for. Oh, we turned off the music with the crystal. Alright, you guys. Peace out. Love ya.